An exhumation didn't make a lot of bucket lists. Not that Hannah Baker dared write her bucket list down. Life with so many siblings had taught her not to leave a paper trail if she could help it. And she wasn't sure she wanted a bucket list. It didn't seem like a good idea to have a list of things to do before she died when she worked in one of the dead spaces of New Orleans, the Coroner's Center, as a forensic surgeon. Might be more useful to make a list of things to do before she got laid off. Whatever ongoing budget crisis was being experienced by the various city departments, it was multiplied by a really big number inside the NOCC, which meant she wouldn't be paid for showing up on her day off. She didn't know whether to curse her curiosity or her unbucket list. Her gaze drifted to one of the 4 men who'd followed the 2 coffins inside. Or she could blame her hijacked day off on her big brother. Of course, Alex shouldn't be here, even if he was keeping behind the chalk line she'd drawn on the floor. This particular exhumation was a little too personal for her usually impersonal brother. No way she'd let him contaminate the chain of evidence, assuming that the 2 coffins produced anything remotely evidential. After 30 years in their crypts, New Orleans' other dead space, that seemed unlikely. It wasn't that unusual to have a couple of bakers, in this instance 3 of them, cluttering up a crime scene. It was a bit unusual to have them baking the morgue, which was already hot, thank you, faulty air conditioning. Both Alex and Ingrid, the 3rd baker present, were on duty and getting paid. Not that Hannah was bitter. She'd left sibling rivalry behind when she turned 30. Still needed to work on not whining, though. Hard habit to break when you worked in a 111 zone. A couple of techs positioned the 2 coffins on her side of the chalk line, bits of debris still clinging to their surfaces, and set the brakes on the wheels. The coffins were in better shape than she'd have expected after so long. Maybe there would be something inside. Was it wrong of her to hope so? Each tech picked a coffin and went to work on the latches. This gave Hannah time to study the non-dead people in the room. She was used to having Ingrid, who worked in the crime scene unit, around now and again, and she was happy to have her sister on her side of the chalk line. A little girl power never hurt. Alex showed up less often in Hannah's dead space. No one really wanted to be in the NOCC, which was currently located in the back of an old funeral home, even when they had to. His partner, Logan Ferris, lounged next to Alex. An invisible line of suspicion and aggression divided the 2 cops from the 2 bad guys, also unfortunately present for the occasion. The Wise cousins were Guido Calvino and Claude St. Cyr. Hannah knew their presence was a family thing, more than a family thing. The crypts from whence the coffins came were family-owned. At this point, no one knew who was interred in the caskets, or not interred in them. It was confusing enough to make her eye twitch. She suppressed the twitch because movement of any kind made her sweat more. Either family could have blocked the exhumation, and she was surprised they hadn't. Apparently, curiosity wasn't limited to the legal side of the situation. Instead, they had both countered with a demand for a family representative to be present when the coffins were opened. Alex would have said no and fought it all the way to the DA. Truth was, the case was still open because no one could find the file. It was a loophole Alex had driven his new truck through. He hadn't expected the bad guys to come through it with him. Sucked to be him right now. Of the 2 bad guys, Guido was definitely the eye candy. Rugged everything. Bad boy heir to a criminal empire currently run by his great-uncle. Guido had a decent skull, his frontal nicely balanced with his mandible. Acceptable frame, clavicles wide enough to make his suit hang nicely, though he was a bit elegant for her tastes. Might be the suit. Wouldn't mind seeing him in jeans.